If you're taking 5 different supplements, but your skin still looks inflamed, reactive, or unpredictable, let me say this clearly. Your routine isn't wellness, it's chaos.
And if you're swallowing more pills than your grandmother, but still waking up tired, bloated, foggy, and irritable, your body is sending you a very loud side eye.
Denise, why do you think that supplements have become the first thing women reach for instead of the last?
I think it's because supplements like feel like you're doing something right. They feel like you're taking proactive approach to your health. They feel like control. And isn't that what everyone's doing anyway?
That's true. So today we're talking about the supplement trap, how women are being sold solutions without physiology, context, or data.
And why the influencer who told you to take sea moss for detox has a promo code, but your doctor doesn't. Welcome back to Symptoms and Side Eyes, where we separate real medicine from social media and TikTok hype. I'm Dr. Deniece, double board certified internal medicine and obesity medicine.
And I'm Dr. Lauren Payne, board certified dermatologist. A significant part of my clinical practice involves correcting skin, hair, and scalp issues that are worsened, not helped by supplement misuse.
Oh, supplements, quite possibly the bane of my existence. For the record, supplement refers to teas, pills, liquids, etc., that are supposed to add nutrients, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, whatever, to fill a gap or enhance your health or make up for deficiencies. Would you agree supplements are one of the areas where patients are most confident, but also often the most misinformed?
Absolutely. So patients will say, I'm doing everything right, and then list 10 supplements that they're taking every day. But when you ask about kind of basic things, right? Like how much are you sleeping? Oh, maybe 4 hours. The stress levels that they're undergoing, or inconsistent with their skincare use and not treating the underlying issue, then it's like, well, I'm not really sure. But those supplements, they know, best believe they know what the name of those 10 supplements are, what color the pill is. They know it to the T.
Right. And on one hand, I commend them. You want to be proactive, but at the same time, many times those supplements aren't the best answer. And the underlying issues, which could be treated, just gets masked or gets worse. So, Dr. Payne, when patients explain why they started supplements, what do you typically hear?
So, kind of the same old story, right? So, fear and urgency, a fear that
Mhm.
something is wrong, and a belief
Yeah.
that supplements are a shortcut to fixing it. They saw an ad on social media that said, "Do you have this? You need this tomorrow." And
Right.
they just jump the gun and get it because that's it's that urgent thing. Oh, that's my problem. I need to fix it ASAP, and this pill is going to do it.
Exactly, and these people are marketing geniuses, okay? I wish I had their skills because 'cause y'all are spending 60 billion a year. I looked that up, that's a true number. 60 billion a year on supplements in America. Those people are purposely using language that preys on fears, fix your hormones, balance your gut, detox your liver, grow your hair fast.
Absolutely. And on top of that, Black women are disproportionately targeted with messaging that implies that our bodies need extra fixing or stronger interventions.
That's right, and so I'll give a common example, right? A woman in her late 30s comes in exhausted. She's taking adrenal supplements, magnesium blends, cortisol blockers, energy powders, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I, a double board certified physician, have never even heard of, right? Her lab's completely normal, but you dig a little deeper and find out she's sleeping 5 hours a night, skipping all her meals, and under chronic stress from a job that she hates.
Exactly. So those supplements weren't the problem. They were actually masking a real one.
She ain't need $500 worth of supplements. She needed sleep, some healthy food, and some boundaries with her job.
So this often is the case, especially in the infamous world of TikTok. TikTok is, they are geniuses at marketing. So why does TikTok makes this worse?
I think it's the fact that they're trying to sell you something, right? So they need to make your problem seem as simple as possible, give it a catchy name so they can sell you the perfect solution that you just can't live without. Fatigue becomes adrenal fatigue, bloating becomes leaky gut.
Yep. And dermatologically, people underestimate how sensitive skin can lead to internal disruption.
Exactly. Supplements can alter your gut motility, your liver metabolism, your insulin response, all of which affect inflammation. And inflammation is the silent root of so many problems.
Absolutely. So most bodies don't need a new pill.
Right. They need a way to manage their stress. Okay.
Exactly. And supplements, unfortunately, don't fix burnout.
That's right. You'll be broke and burnt. Okay. You won't be no better because TikTok sold you a supplement.
That part right there.
Speaking of growing broke, let's talk about the most overhyped supplements. Which one we gonna call out first, Dr. Pay?
I mean, you should already know the one I'm gonna call. I've thought about like probably every episode we have so far. That's the infamous Dieexis. You already know what's coming.
Right. That's my favorite too, because I have clearly learned from you. But help the ladies. What's the problem with biotin? That's vitamin B7, or even I learned it's called vitamin H. Who knew, by the way?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, biotin deficiency in general is very rare, but patients are taking doses thousands of times above the recommended levels. The good thing is that it's water soluble, meaning that you'll typically just pee out the excess and won't, you won't have like an overdose of biotin. But the issue is that high dose biotin competes with vitamin B5, which can actually increase sebum production and worsen acne. I have quite a few patients who come in. They started those good old skin, hair, and nail vitamins that are just biotin, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, but now I'm getting acne. That could be why. I a new patient, onset acne, no history, no hormonal changes. The only new variable was high dose hair gummies that she got on the internet. So we stopped the gummies, and lo and behold, the acne improved too within a couple weeks.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's like so hard for patients to connect something that they feel is good for them, to skin reactions.
And exactly, they think natural means harmless, but that's absolutely not the case. And for the record, biotin by itself will not grow your hair or keep you from losing what you have. So
Mm, mm,
please keep
mm.
that in your mind.
Straight from a dermatologist. Okay. It doesn't matter what the
Mhm.
internet told you. The real dermatologist said it doesn't work.
Thank you. So, which
Okay.
one do you want to talk about next, Dr. Denise?
Okay, let's do collagen powder. Cause this one, I'm like, I'm seeing all these vital proteins, collagen supplements everywhere. I think I hear it takes like better skin, maybe joint pain relief. Patients swear collagen transforms their life and their skin.
So I
What
would
is
think
it?
that sometimes patients will try to, squint and be like, you know what, I think I see a difference because they spend so much money on the product, right? And so, what way to make yourself feel better by then to say, oh, yeah, I think I may actually see a little something. The collagen powder, so it's digested into amino acids, and it supports protein intake, but not collagen production in the dermis. You cannot ingest protein powder and have it all of a sudden stimulate your collagen in your skin. That there have,
Oh.
unfortunately, been no studies to prove that. So, very, very low likelihood.
And I did a little research and I add that a few of the studies, it wasn't clear whether it's actually the vitamin C that they add to the collagen that helps, makes the most difference. So it's a
And we
citrus.
do recommend vitamin C to increase like your blood, that the walls of your blood. That's supposed to keep them a little, make them stronger. So yes, that has been a well known fact. But collagen powder, not so much.
Okay, that's good to know. Vitamin C, that's good.
So, so what about sea moss? Have you heard of that one?
This one I had to research a little bit more. I've seen it in a couple forums, but not. So I did a little research. It refers to like red algae species, and there are a lot of nutrients in seaweed, like iodine, magnesium, calcium, iron. So it's clearly not all bad.
Hmm. I do have some patients who come in and say that they're taking, daily sea moss as well. But what we don't know is, we know, of course, it's unregulated. And sometimes it's actually contaminated with heavy metals, which I'm sure people don't really want to ingest in their body.
Exactly. And, not only that, the fact that they're unregulated also runs the risk of getting too much good stuff. In this case, iodine, and you could mess up your thyroid because you have too much iodine. And then here comes the fatigue, the mood changes, and the sleep that you might blame on your hormone, but it's really that sea moss you've been taking.
Absolutely. I hear it in the same line as detox blends. Those are everywhere.
Right. It's ridiculous. And let me save you the trouble and the cash. Okay. You don't need a detox pill. You don't need a detox tea. You don't need a detox whatever. Okay. Your liver is doing all it needs to. Don't waste your money. And let me give you the perfect example. I had a patient. Came in. She was doing monthly detox kit. She was dizzy and she was constipated. Electrolytes, all crazy, dehydrated. her cleanse was disrupting her body's natural process.
Yep. The liver doesn't need punishment or help from a tea to detox. You know what? It's kind of smart. It can do it on its own.
Right. And speaking of the liver, let me add another supplement that's not as talked about as much as it used to be, but turmeric supplements. Very popular for people who wanted to like fight inflammation. But I had a patient, she came into the hospital with liver failure and we just could not figure it out. The lady had minimal medical problems, wasn't an alcohol drinker, which is like the first thing that come with liver failure. And, it just didn't make any sense. Test after test. And then finally, we figured out that she had been on turmeric supplements. She finally decided to disclose what supplement she was taking. Remember, full disclosure to your doc. But yeah, it was a turmeric. Now, turmeric is generally safe and does have some evidence with the anti-inflammation and antioxidant benefits, but still, too much of a good thing can be too much for your system.
That part. And side note, it's not a supplement, but there's a lot of turmeric soaps out there for skin,
Mm,
hyperpigmentation. I have seen so much irritation from turmeric soaps. So
really?
I don't recommend those. I advise people stay away from those as well.
Uh-oh, I just bought this because my lips are dark and I don't like it.
Part.
Well, wait,
This is what you don't do. This is what you
wait, but no, it's got turmeric and lemon. And they said when I put it on, it's
Girl.
gonna last.
Oh, Jesus.
No?
Jesus. No.
Wait, they put it for black
Lemon is
people.
acidic. Lemon's gonna burn you burn your lips.
It is,
Turmeric is
but
gonna
we're enlightening
irritate
it.
you.
Look.
Hell voodoo. You notice you'll just get it dark and you're gonna be like, wait a second. I think it's still the opposite. Just
Okay. But look, see, even physicians fall for it. Yep, I bought it on Facebook.
exactly. We all do girls too. We all do it, trust. Once again, all it takes is like, oh, it does this. And you're like, oh, gotta get it. So
Yeah,
we
they got me.
understand. We understand.
They got me. That's okay. That's okay. I didn't buy a blunt. $15. Everybody was $15. That's it. I feel like that
Okay.
sounds
All right.
right. I
All
think
right.
50, 60, 100 out. Nah, you ain't gonna give me. I'm cheap. You ain't gonna give me that. But they got me on that one. Okay, fine. Guess I won't have pretty pink lips. Okay, okay. So next, multivitamins. I mean, okay. Generic multivitamins, they can often overshoot some nutrients and underdose others.
Yeah, that's true. Excessive vitamin A or zinc can irritate the skin. So in low doses, that can actually be pretty helpful, but sometimes it actually irritate the skin or disrupt your other mineral balance. So just keep that in mind. Especially if you have a well, healthy, balanced diet, you likely don't need that
Right.
additional multivitamin.
Right. It's so much better just to eat a variety of food. When I say a variety of foods, I mean food groups, right? Like meat, protein, fats, carbs, but also colors. Get you some red, some green, some orange. Spread the rainbow as hard as you can, and you will get the vitamins and minerals that you need. Next, probiotics. They're strain specific, so they might help, they might not. Mm.
Yeah, we don't usually recommend them in dermatology unless you're on kind of like a chronic antibiotic. So we'll use antibiotics for acne, and sometimes I will recommend a lactobacillus, but only if they're on it for a long period of time, which I try to minimize having patients on long term antibiotics anyway. So not really the go to for from a probiotic standpoint.
Yeah, I agree. Nowadays, they're talking prebiotics a little bit more. If I've had, some nasty stomach stuff going on, I might drink a kombucha or something like that. But, it's not the little pill, maybe some yogurt or something like that. Don't just
Mhm.
go for the pill. Go for the real food whenever you can. Okay. So I think the bottom line is that supplements aren't the answer. Get checked and then think about supplements in coordination with your physician or healthcare provider. And I also want to emphasize again, there is such thing as too much of a good thing. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if someone remembers one thing from this episode, what should it be?
I would say test before you supplement. Write this down forever. Okay. If something is off, make sure these labs are checked. And this is pretty universal. And when I say off, I mean anything off. These are the universal labs that you just want to take a look at every once in a while, yearly maybe. Iron and ferritin, vitamin D, your thyroid panel, B12 and folate, your A1C, your CBC to check your blood count, and your CMP so you can look at your liver, your kidneys, and your potassium and things like that. These things will cover the majority of the basics and help guide toward a diagnosis and possibly supplements that you actually need.
And I will mention that usually iron and ferritin are checked in your annual physicals. That usually is something you have to ask your primary doctor to check. Same thing with B12 and folate.
Yep.
So those probably should you can ask your primary doctor, hey, do you mind checking those as well? Especially iron and ferritin for females of childbearing years, because they are the ones who have menstrual cycles, but you lose blood and you're losing iron. So those are the most likely population to have iron deficiency. But it often is not checked as a regular lab if you're not reporting of symptoms to your doc. So
Right.
just keep that in mind.
And make sure they don't forget the ferritin, because I saw somebody post just the other day. They were like, they told them they weren't iron deficient, but when they checked their ferritin, it's like in the tank. So both
Let
of
them
those
know
are
what
good
ferritin,
together.
let them know what ferritin is.
Right.
It honestly is a measure of your iron stores. You may have a normal level of iron, but if you have no stores, no reserves, then all it takes is 1 or 2 heavy periods. And then where's the iron going to come from? Because you don't have any stores left. So yes, your
That's
level
right.
can be normal, but if you have no reserves, then all it takes is for you to have several heavy cycles, and then now you are deficient.
Right.
So let's do another clinical case. So I had a patient comes in for hair shedding. She was on biotin, all the things, biotin, collagen powder, scalp serums. Her ferritin level, magic number 7, aka very, very low ferritin.
Right.
So no supplement that she took would work until that iron is corrected. I don't care how much you're spending on vitamin supplements, scalp serums. If you have low ferritin, your hair is not going to grow as it should.
That's right. And, hair follicles don't function without iron. And if you don't check the labs, you can biotin yourself to death. Okay. And it still won't make a difference. Not that biotin makes a difference anyway. We said that right. So, luckily, your body is constantly sending clues on what you actually need.
Yep, absolutely. So a lot of times, low iron will lead to hair shedding. Low vitamin D actually also leads to hair shedding and skin dullness. Low B12, same thing, hair changes and nail changes. Thyroid dysfunction, dryness, hair thinning. High cortisol, acne. So all of these underlying issues can, lead to these symptoms that you need to be aware of.
Right. The body is going to whisper to you before it screams. Keep that list of labs. Make sure if you're noticing something, they're all checked to make sure you're covering the basics before you start spending all your money on whatever TikTok told you. Okay. The good thing about the body is it's smart. It tries to let you know. So just like Dr. Payne said, shedding, dullness, the nail changes, those could be clues that something internally is going on.
Absolutely. So if supplements aren't the answer, what is?
Hmm. You must cover the basics. I'm a basic y'all to death. All right. Your lifestyle dictates to a large extent how you feel on a day to day basis. And, I'm not lifestyle medicine certified because they try to tell everybody to eat plants, and I'm not doing that. But, I do carry those same principles throughout my practice. Consistent sleep, hydration, 2 liters of water a day, please, people. Okay. That's 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Adequate protein. Remember, Dr. Payne said in earlier episodes, you need 20 or 30 to support your hair and make sure it's doing all right. Fiber. Oh my goodness, the whole world is constipated. And that's because we don't get enough fiber, and most of us don't even realize it. Try to keep a stable blood sugar by not eating, 100 bars of candy a day. My patient that I went to see today, he had 2 Fantas on his table. And I said, two? That's 84 grams of sugar, honey. 84. Okay. That
Cause any of those, what
Yep.
was it, orange? I feel like all them colored
It was orange and cherry. It was orange and cherry.
even
I'm like,
worse.
what?
It's always the red and the orange. Always the red and the orange.
Oh my goodness. I was like, boy. Even I was surprised because I think Coke was like what,
Uh-huh.
20 grams of sugar. But bottom line, them
Yeah.
sodas,
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Horrible. Okay. And don't just say, oh,
Agreed.
I did that. I don't care about the diet soda.
Uh-huh.
You need to try to get rid of it. Water. Purring, regulate your
Yep.
stress, and then, go to a physician or somebody at least once every couple years. Get those baselines so you know when things are going out of rock when they check them again. Supplements can support a plan, but they're not the plan by themselves. But there's a couple that are typically harmless that I can tell you can have some immediate benefits, right? Number 1, 2, and 3 for me is a fiber supplement. Psyllium is preferred and start low if you have, not getting much fiber in your diet, and then increase. That'll give you bowel regulation. You never, I mean, the list of symptoms that constipation can cause is this long. When your belly is cleaned out, you just walk around lighter, feeling better. I also like magnesium glycinate, specifically glycinate. Lots of people are magnesium deficient. I looked it up. It's like 50 to 70% of Americans. And I know when I worked in the hospital, almost anybody I checked, their magnesium is low. If I check it, it's going to be low. Right. So that one, it can help with sleep. It's absorbed very well. But these are not things that you should do every single day. Like we said, too much of a good thing. But throwing in some magnesium at night is good. If you have problems with concentration, you may get some benefits from magnesium threonate, but that was expensive. So I don't know what the benefit versus the cost ratio is there. So the glycinate is good. Citrate, remember magnesium citrate is for poop and it can throw your lights off. So I just say, don't do that one. You can take fiber and Miralax if you need to poo like that. And then I like the prenatal vitamins. They're great. They're a safe general choice for general use. Like, a lot of people with kidney disease, they're on like a renal vitamin, but when they come in the hospital, we don't have those, so we put them on a prenatal. Good for men, good for women, good for everybody. And what about from the skin side, Dr. Payne?
Yeah, I often recommend prenatals for, overall hair health too, just because it has good B12 and folate in it. Even I would tell my women, even if you're 65, not trying to get pregnant, it can still be beneficial. So
Right. And a man too, okay?
exactly, exactly. I've never done them. I've never, recommended to a man, but that makes total sense. I will start doing that. So regarding skincare or regarding skin, consistency over chaos is what's most important. So, in terms of kind of ingredients that we look for that we know have proven benefits to skin, of course, your retinoids. I love a good retinol or retin A. It increases cell turnover, helps with skin texture, helps with fine lines, wrinkles, and definitely the infamous hyperpigmentation in skin of color. So, always going to recommend it.
And
Definitely
everybody
skincare.
should use retinoids?
Everybody should be. However, it is, can be irritating for sensitive skin. So, always go kind of, a low and slow approach. Use moisturizer with it. Don't be heavy handed. It is definitely one that when you use it, it should not be seen on your skin. So if you don't cake your face like a frosting, like on a cupcake, it should be translucent to where you don't even know it's there. That's how
Okay.
much you use retinoid. Properly formulated vitamin C. So every product nowadays has quote unquote vitamin C in it. What I've mentioned multiple times on social media is that vitamin C is very unstable at baseline. So there's only maybe 2 or 3 active forms of vitamin C. One way that you can tell if your vitamin C is active or not is number one, does it come in a serum? That's usually when it's most active. Number two, is the serum in a brown bottle? So vitamin C oxidizes with light. So it needs to be in a brown bottle. And then number three, does it tingle when you first put it on? Vitamin C is acidic. If you put it on and you feel no tingle, it's probably about 95% of whatever filler they use of a moisturizer or a serum and about 5% of vitamin C. So not really going to do a whole lot. So keep that in mind. Also, regarding moisturizers, you want to look for ingredients like ceramides. That's a molecule that our body naturally has in our skin to hold in moisture. Ceramides, glycerin, those are very important for your moisturizers. Daily sunscreen, you'll hear me say that till I'm blue in the face. I don't care what skin color you are, everybody needs sunscreen, sun protection, but also from the skin of color standpoint, vanity. So hyperpigmented spots will fade a lot more quickly if we block them from both the outside light and the blue light from electronic devices. And then iron or vitamin D when it's indicated. As I mentioned, those can also affect the hair, so keep that in mind. Scalp health, make sure you're washing your scalp, cleansing your scalp at least every 1 to 2 weeks. There was this trend at one point about, oh, you shouldn't be washing your hair because that makes your hair grow more. And you're supposed to do like 4 to 8 weeks of not washing your hair. Definitely, please don't follow that trend. Our scalp is, and our hair is kind of a living thing, right? So it needs to be cleaned and cleansed just like the rest of your body. And then, of course, we have great in-office treatments. We have, from a dermatologist standpoint, chemical peels, microneedling, laser treatments. Those are great too. But you also need to, of course, make sure that your at-home skincare is the right, formula, and also that you're being consistent with it.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. So supplements are appropriate when there's a documented deficiency or a medical indication.
Absolutely. And when they're used temporarily, strategically, and with monitoring, not those to be used as your kind of new prescription that you're using.
Right. So before you go spending all that money on something, ask yourself these questions. What are you trying to treat? How's your sleep, stress, and the other basics? And have I had labs checked in the last year or two?
Absolutely.
So let's make some supplement rules. How about if you can't pronounce it?
Your body probably doesn't need it.
Mm, and if TikTok told you about it,
Girl, you better ask your physician.
right. Always
So
question TikTok
this
and look how
part,
much
this
money they make.
part. The cool thing though is there's a lot of physicians who are on TikTok who are giving
Yeah.
you a lot of scientific education. So, we're not saying TikTok is bad. It's just making sure that you're following and taking advice from properly credentialed individuals. So just keep that in mind.
Mhm. Right.
So, your skin does not want 14 supplements. It wants stability, barrier repair, and consistency. May not
Right.
be sexy, but those are the things that really work.
Yes, ma'am. And your body doesn't want trends. Okay. It wants sleep, nourishment, movement, and real data like labs.
Exactly. So if this episode saved you from buying another influencer supplement, as you heard from Dr. Denise buy one today, send it to someone that you love to hopefully save them some money.
All right. So, like, share, subscribe, and tell us the next trend you want us to medically break down.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Also, make sure you follow us on our personal pages. I'm at Dr. Lauren Payne, as well as at Flourish Dermatology.
And I'm at Lifestyle Care DPC and at Dr. Deniece.
Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next episode.
Next episode.